It was a cold night, the kind that makes you pull your coat tighter and hurry home. Most people were tucked away inside, sipping coffee or watching the news. But not him. He walked into that high-end steakhouse, soaked from the rain, his old military cap clutched in trembling hands. His coat was worn, his boots muddy, but his eyes told a story far older than his years. He didn't ask for much, just a warm place to sit for a minute. That's when the waiter approached, voice low but firm. "Sir, you're not welcome here. Please leave before we call security." The words sliced through the quiet hum of the restaurant, loud enough for every table to hear. All heads turned. The old man looked down at his shoes, embarrassed, muttering something about just needing a break from the storm. The host leaned in closer, smiling just enough to hide the cruelty behind it. "This isn't a shelter, sir. You need to go." Around them, laughter returned, glasses clinked, and no one moved, except one man. In the far back corner, 6 men sat around a large table, silent and still. They had short hair, broad shoulders, and a calm presence that said they didn't need to prove anything. One of them slowly set down his glass. Then he stood. Another followed, then another, until all 6 were on their feet. Their movements were deliberate, like soldiers moving into position. The energy in the room changed. Eyes fixed on the old man, who still hadn't looked up. One of the SEALs began walking toward him, his boots echoing against the marble floor. "Sir," he said, firm but gentle, "are you Staff Sergeant Raymond Douglas?" The old man blinked, surprised. "Yes, I was a long time ago." The SEAL snapped into a sharp salute. "It's an honor." The waiter took a step back, stammering, "I didn't know." "You didn't ask." The SEAL cut him off, voice low but charged. "You judged a man by his coat, not by his courage." Another SEAL stepped forward, gently taking the old man's arm. "You're not leaving, Sergeant. You're dining with us." Tears welled in Raymond's eyes. "You boys don't have to do that." The first SEAL replied, "Yes, we do. Because you did it for us first." It wasn't a scene of anger or confrontation. It was a moment of deep respect, of warriors recognizing one of their own. The hostess quickly cleared a chair, and the 6 SEALs helped Raymond to the head of the table like they were escorting royalty. And in a way, they were. The waiter disappeared, probably hoping to be forgotten. Other patrons whispered, stunned by what they were witnessing. But this wasn't for show. It was for family. As the meal began, the atmosphere shifted. There was no small talk, no awkward silences. Instead, Raymond began to speak. Not about medals or glory, but about jungle nights in Vietnam, brothers lost in battle, and the weight of memories heavier than any uniform. The SEALs listened, not out of politeness, but reverence. One by one, hardened warriors, men who had faced enemy fire, buried friends, and carried scars both visible and hidden, began to tear up. Because they knew, no matter how elite their training, how modern their weapons, they were standing on the shoulders of ghosts like Raymond. Halfway through dinner, the restaurant manager arrived, clearly having heard what was happening. He approached the table nervously. "Sergeant Douglas, we'd be honored to cover your meal tonight. On the house." Raymond shook his head slowly. "I'm not here for a free meal, son. I just wanted a warm place to sit. I'm not trying to make trouble." One of the SEALs turned to the manager. "He didn't ask for a handout. He earned this." Another leaned forward. "Hell, we should all be paying him for this table." The manager stood straighter, visibly shaken. "You're right. I'm sorry, Sergeant." Outside, the rain continued to fall, but inside, something deeper was warming the room. Later, as plates were cleared and coats gathered, Raymond tried to slip out quietly, back into the cold night. He didn't want attention. He never had. But before he could disappear into the storm, one of the SEALs stopped him. "Where are you going?" Raymond mumbled. "Back to the shelter." "It's not far." The man shook his head. "Not anymore. You're coming with us." Raymond blinked, surprised. "To where?" "Home?" Without another word, the group gathered around him, shielding him from the rain with their jackets. They guided him toward a waiting truck, making space not just in their vehicle, but in their lives. This wasn't charity. It was duty, brotherhood, honor. There were no cameras, no audience, no applause. Just 6 men doing what they believed was right, honoring a soldier who once gave everything without expecting anything in return. That night, in a quiet corner of the world, a forgotten hero was reminded that his sacrifice still mattered, that the brotherhood he fought for hadn't died with time. Because respect isn't given by title, it's earned by sacrifice. And sometimes the loudest act of heroism is silence. Real warriors don't forget the ones who paved the path. Even in a world obsessed with youth and status, character still stands tall. If this story touched your heart, please take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a karma in the comments below. Let's keep telling these stories, because they deserve to be remembered.